We are at one of my favorite little hiking spots in St. George. It's called Shnabkai or Shinobi Kaibi. I'm not sure on the pronunciation. It's been said the translation was lost hundreds of years ago. So I say it's either Shinobi Kaibi or Shnabkai. All right, we got approximately 850 feet up to go. We're gonna show these city slicker girls how some country boys do it. Pretty much everything in my life, I like to make a metaphor of somehow bring the Lord of the Rings into it. Pretty much in Mordor right now.
A little cat.
We got our very first casualties. I get these urges sometimes just to see if I can run up it. You gonna hold these?
You got your stuff.
All right. Catch you guys at the top.
Crazy mother.
Wow. Liz.
Slovenia. We did it, guys. Little Sunday cardio. It's a long ways down. Pretty much everything that the light touches is mine. I don't go into the dark areas though. All right, quiet on set. Just kidding. What's up, guys? Taking the sunglasses off because we're about to get real. A little Q&A time. I like doing these Q&As pretty often just because it's a good way to interact with everyone out there. I'm in St. George right now. As you guys can see, we are way up high and I'm afraid of heights. But I love doing things that scare me. So this is one of those things that I like doing anytime I'm here in St. George just because it's a whole heck of a lot of fun to get scared. And I mean that like, not doing something stupid, but just scary enough it gets your heart racing. But so I shouted it out on Twitter on, I was gonna be doing a Q&A. So we're gonna be going through your tweets, answering some of these questions. So we'll start off with just a light one right now. What's the one guaranteed tune that'll get you on the dance floor every time? Guaranteed. If it's Halloween time, Thriller. I practice Thriller. Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. I memorized all 7 minutes of that song when I was a little kid. And then right now, Hit the Quan. You guys are gonna see me hitting the Quan in probably one of my videos here. So just pretty much anything that has a dance to it. Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk You Up, for some reason I love that one as well. What has been, we got Ray J. Flynn asks, what's been the biggest achievement of your life? Not just your physique career, maybe mentally, maybe a mental big achievement. Hashtag idol. Well, thank you, Ryan, Ray Flynn, I appreciate that. That's a tough one. I think mentally, there's obviously things you can pinpoint, but those things that are big in terms of career-wise, a lot of times they have a mental component of them as well. So everything that you see that people do physically usually is a kind of a snapshot into what mentally they're capable of as well. So, for me, I think the biggest kind of time in my life that was the biggest mental achievement is went through my divorce when I was young. You guys might have heard this story. Didn't really know where I was going. Football had ended, moved back to St. George, got my degree, was taking like 16 credits, working at Texas Roadhouse like every night, going to school, going to labs, working out, Texas Roadhouse, going back to the gym, getting ready for that muscle and fitness male model search. I also think mentally, probably being in LA is mentally it's tough. You got to stay in it and just grind every day. And then also the traveling. Like right now in my life, traveling as much as I do, it's mentally exhausting. And I know everyone thinks it's fun, but and it is. It's a great time to go places and see things. But traveling can be mentally exhausting. What I remember, when I'm feeling mentally exhausted is typically it's lack of sleep, I need to get balanced, so I'm focusing on something specifically that needs. I need to kind of think about other things. So right now, just trying to figure out exactly where I want to live. Looking at different options. I'm one that can fixate on one of those problems and then kind of stop worrying about other things in my life. So what I do to kind of combat that is mentally be in the moment. So search for things. Make sure I'm spending time with family. Make sure I keep moving. So if I just get up, I don't feel like going to the gym because mentally you got something that's just on your mind, you can't get off. You need to move. And the more you move, the easier it gets. Good question though. And also on that first question, that was Carol_Gardner. All right, next up we got Dylan, my man Dylan Toll. Steve Cook, can you teach us your ways of your positivity? Can you teach us the way of your positivity? I'm not always positive, guys. It's just one of those things that I think you train yourself to do. But I'll tell you what, like life, no matter who you are, no matter what, even like, I'm gonna take this is a stupid example, the Kardashians, people that you think they have everything. Problems change, and studies show that even if you're wealthy, you perceive problems and you perceive stress to be the same. So those, if you're, it's not the same. So if like someone doesn't have enough food on their plate, that's a need, but doesn't mean they're not going to be as happy as somebody with a ton of money. Money, success, having all those needs met, that's one thing, but people find a way to be happy or find a way to be positive in really any situation. And I think that kind of sounds harsh, saying like somebody who can't walk or who is in an accident, is in a wheelchair, like they perceive their like those people will end up being just as happy. That is, and that's saying somebody with money might not be just as happy. It's a mental state of mind that I think you get used to. Whatever lifestyle you live, you get used to. And if there's stress in your life, like living in LA in traffic, you perceive that as a stress. And it might not be the exact same stress as again not having enough money to pay your bills, but you tend to stress out over what's in front of you at that time. So I think if you can just kind of remind yourself to take a step back and to really think about what's important in life, what really matters. And then service. If you guys want to have a positive outlook on life, do something positive for somebody else. Do some sort of service project and put others first. And the times in my life that I've been so self-centered about thinking what I need to do and my problems and what I need to do with my career and this and that's when I'm the most unhappy. The times that I can just do things that serve others and I feel like what I'm doing is bringing me closer to other people, that's when I feel the most happy. So I would say the secret of being positive is serving others, not making life about you. All right, next question. Eric_Lucy asks, how do you maintain such a healthy diet without cheating? Guys, here's a secret, don't tell anyone. I do cheat from time to time. I do have binge out sessions where I'm stressed and I stress eat, I comfort eat. Like that's not something I'm ashamed about, because that's something that everyone goes through. Like it doesn't happen that often, but it's one of those things that those things that it's part of life in our day and age where you have so much food readily available. What I try to do is just concentrate on making the best decisions that I can at that time. Early on in life, in this fitness career, if I had one cheat meal, the whole day was a cheat. It stuffed my face. Now it's like, you know what? Just because that one meal or that one bad thing I ate, kind of set me back, it doesn't mean that the rest of the day should. And I think that's a very mature way of thinking about things. It's like making the best decision you can here and now. But I also think, why am I eating? Is it something else that's stressing me out? I probably should attend to that problem and not fix it with food, because food is the short-term fix. Good question. This is from John Ellender. John asks, can you explain how to count macros and also best ab exercises, please? These two kind of go hand in hand. You'll only have abs when you have the body fat to show abs. So you can do all the crunches in the world. We've talked about this before. You won't have abs until you have, minimum fat covering them. For me, that's about 7-8%. I start seeing some abs in there. And that's good abs. I'm not saying just like 1 or 2. That's, decent abs. So how do I count macros? The best thing you can do is start reading labels. Start reading labels, get familiar with serving sizes. You need to buy a food scale, and you need to be able to read labels. If you can buy a food scale and read labels, you'll be able to count macros. From then, it's just knowing what macros you need. So it's starting off with, maybe plugging it into bodybuilding.com or looking on the internet, figuring out what you need for your body size. Starting there, tracking for a week, and then seeing what changes your body has made, weight-wise, energy level-wise. Whether your goal is to bulk or to cut. That's going to depend on whether you increase or decrease and how much. You should never try to lose more than about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds a week, max. If you're dieting down for a show, I try to shoot for about 1 pound, and then vice versa. You don't ever want to gain more than 1 pound a week, else it's just going to be excess body fat. The last question comes from Xavier Gullen. Was a half marathon easier than what you thought it at the beginning? Yes, it was easier. I didn't train a whole lot, but yesterday, running that half marathon, maybe it was because it was slightly downhill for the first 8 miles. That never hurts if you're running a half marathon to sign up for one that's slightly downhill. But I went into it with the mindset is that I'm gonna have fun. I didn't start off running as hard as I could. I stayed with the group and then kind of had fun, and then I started feeling good, and I just pushed myself to where I knew that I wasn't gonna totally burn out. But I had a goal. My goal was to do it under 2 hours. I did it a little bit less than an hour and 55 minutes, I think. I beat the 1:55 pacers by a little bit. And it was kind of like start off nice and easy, and then at the end, you have those gut checked. So like mile 10, it was a gut check mile. And I passed the 1:55 pacers, and my goal was not to let them beat me. And I just concentrated on that person in front of me a lot of the times, and I would catch one person, at the end there, I would catch one person, and I'd set my sights on the next person. So it was all those short-term goals. Like, it was short-term. It was catch this person, okay, now catch this person. And that mentally for me kept me in it, because if I would have just jumped in and been like, I need to run as hard as I can for 13 miles, I wouldn't have enjoyed it at all. It would have been brutal, and I wouldn't have ran as fast. But because I did just short term, having like from here to there, I'm gonna try to just get a nice forward lean and have at it. I did think it was easier, and I did it on 2 hours and 35 minutes of sleep. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Will I be doing another one anytime soon? Probably not. If I ever do that much running again, it'll be part of a half, or like a half Ironman, or even a full Ironman. Just go all out and train actually for it. But anyhow, that is it for this Q&A. Guys, we're going to be doing a Q&A once a week if you guys like it. So leave in the comment sections below if you guys are liking these Q&As and what more you guys would like to see. Maybe some other types of questions, whether it's training, lifestyle. We can hit on any number of things. And we'll always try to do them in a kind of a cool place, whether it's LA, whether it's Vegas. In all my travels, try to set up someplace cool and do them. So thanks for tuning in. We got to do cardio down the mountain now. Try not to fall off of it. Let's go.